And good evening, everybody. Welcome back into the Dragon's Den. My name is Digital Dragon, 3D printing variety streamer here on Twitch. What does that mean? It means we do everything from printer unboxings, like you see with Eric's One Carbons and our Centauri Carbons down below, to full-up printer builds like our Vorons, the LH Stinger, and various other machines. We also do a lot of beta testing around here. We've beta tested several nozzles from Fadus, Luke's Lab. We beta tested the box turtle. So we do a lot of different things here on the channel. So hope you like what the content is. And if you have any suggestions, please run over to the Discord, bang Discord in chat, join the Discord server and let us know if there's things you want us to take a look at. I will say that I apologize. My voice may be a little bit scratchy right now. I can barely hear out of my right ear. As some of you know, I did not stream at all last week. I was over in Frankfurt, Germany at FormNext, and it was a little colder over there. It was pretty much in the low 30s most of the time that I was outside. And while I was taking some meds at the beginning of the week, I finished off the meds for the cold that I had before going over, and I think it just got worse because, as I said, my right ear still is got the pressure built up from flying in. But it was a great trip. We'll talk about it throughout the night. Welcome on in, Petty Ruxpin. Long time no see. Hey, the Mad Owl, how's it going? Haven't seen you in a little while. Hey, Daisy, how's it going? How's it going? Daisy's, thank you for the new banner at the top. During the last stream before I took off for FormNext, she had popped in a couple of banners for me, one that was not dynamic and this one which is. So that was very nice. So we threw that out there. I'm doing good as well. Like I said, still dealing with a little bit of a cold that I caught while I was over in FormNext. I did have a follow-up with my doctor today, in which case she says, I can't diagnose certain things over the phone because it was a telephone call. So I'm trying to make an in-person one, but yeah. So FormNext, God, there was so much to see in FormNext. So for those of you that don't know, the Frankfurt Messe is a big exhibition complex. There's 12 buildings in the entire complex, and these are not small buildings. These things are massive. And this year, FormNext was in buildings 11 and 12. Each building had 2 floors, and they were easily 18,000 square foot each floor. I mean, they're just massive, right? We were, when I say we, me and Waters went over as part of the automated team to represent the OTTOeject MK1. If you're not familiar with the OTTOeject MK1, you will be seeing content on this channel very, very soon on that. They did successfully launch the Kickstarter. They did get 160 backers. They have they had sent out for production with LDO for 200 kits. So they are fully funded. The kits are in production right now. They are going out within the next 2 to 3 weeks. There was some delay just because we were waiting for stuff back from the beta testers. Hey, Jedi Spidey, how's it going? But they are in full production right now, and they will be going out. Once those go out, late backers. I will pop over to the OTTOeject site real fast. Here we go. Let's go over here full screen. So this is the automated website, automated.com. Throw this over here in chat real fast. And there we go. And so the automated folks is primarily Mukesh. He is out of Auckland, New Zealand. He basically came up with this idea of how to automate 3D printing because he was getting tired of having to, he leaves the shop, goes home, has dinner with the family, and then once dinner's done, he's got to run back to the shop and swap out build plates. What this allows you to do is print 5 or 6 build plates sequentially so that you don't have to keep chasing your printers. 2 things this buys you. Number 1, it buys you the ability to produce overnight, right? Your printers stay active overnight when you're not at the shop, or having to get up in the middle of the night to swap build plates out if you're on a tight timeline for a production run. The other thing is during the day, you can set up your queuing system, and rather than chasing printers, if you have multiple printers going and swapping build plates out, which forces you to task switch because you're working on a CAD drawing or you're working on a new design in ZBrush or whatever, and you have to stop that creative flow to go tend to the printers, and then you come back, we don't task switch very well. What this could do is free up your time. Say it's 40 minutes of print bed because you're doing something small and quick, times 6. There's almost 3 hours there where you've just gotten some uninterrupted time block where you can work on things like your marketing plan, your social media posts, your website, package shipping, stuff like that. So this is a really cool system, and they flew me and Waters out to FormNext to support the booth. Like I said, there is a link out here in the Kickstarter. You can get in. I believe there was 40 slots that were available for late pledge that will still go out with the Kickstarter units. If not, it's going to go on retail once all the Kickstarter units are out. We're expecting sometime in January for that to happen, and we're expecting it to be about $500 US distributed via LDO. So I do want to make this plug for OTTOeject because once again, they brought me out to FormNext and gave me the opportunity to experience FormNext, which was a phenomenal show. Hey, Adam, how's it going? Welcome in. Pile 3D, how's it going? Yeah, and the nice thing with plate changers, so there's a couple of other systems that are out there, right, that we hear a lot about. And we heard a lot about them at the show. One of them is SwapMod, right? So SwapMod was one of the ones that we kept hearing a lot about. And when you look at this system, it's a neat system, right? Definitely a neat system. But there's some issues that we have with this particular system. One, it only works with the A1 Mini, right? It's the only thing that they've set it up for. 2, doing the build plate switching requires your bed to move back and forth a couple of times. So this is putting more wear and tear on your machine versus something else. So if wear and tear is there and you have to take your OTTOeject offline to do routine maintenance or swap a belt out or something like that, your printer's still viable. You can still use your printer. It's just the ejection system that's down. The other thing with this is it pushes the plate off the front, which means you can be pushing plates into old prints if you're not following, right? So Yeah, there may be another version coming for other printers. This is also designed, and with the way it only works with bed slingers, right? So that's the other downside here, is this only works with bed slingers. And as you can see, your plates are piling up on top of each other. Some of the stuff that we've heard about people that were using this was parts being damaged by this, where the beds are coming off in a totality and hitting other parts and denting parts or damaging parts on beds that have already been ejected off. Not that that's a bad, you know, I'm not trying to poo-poo on this system or anything else. I'm just saying pros and cons. This works with the A1 Mini right now, and they have to redevelop and revise all of the printed files for every printer they're going to put it on. One of the other ones that we heard was oh, come on. Was GeoBox. And GeoBox is something similar. It allows you to automate your 3D printing stuff, and this is designed to work with Prusa printers. Mark III, I'm assuming it'll also work for Mark IV. The problem with this, once again, was it was designed for specific printers. It also looks like they have it for the A1, but this design as well is built around the bed slinger, right? Some of the things that we heard about this was version 1.0 worked great. They went to a 1.5 and used some spring steel tabs, and those spring steel tabs were failing over time and causing some errors. I will be the first to tell you, I have zero experience working with either GeoBox or JawBox or SwapMod. I only have the experience running the auto eject system. And so far, the only thing that I really see with JawBox or JawBox and SwapMod is their solutions for bed slingers, right? Where automated works with bed slingers and Core XY systems and a lot of the popular ones. So that's what we've got going there. That we had lots and lots of conversation about the SwapBox and JawBox. A lot of conversation around the auto eject. We had this running a macro sequence all weekend long. The only problem that we had was the one time somebody hit the table and physically moved the printer, and we had to go and move things around. Hey Waters, how's it going? Welcome on in. So yeah, that's the only thing I'm going to say. I've never used SwapMod. I've never used JawBox, but they are designed to work with bed slingers, and they don't work with Core XY because there's no way to get the plates in. This is a cool solution here, and like I said, I just wanted to plug them real fast because they brought us to the show, and me and Waters wouldn't be there if we didn't like this system, if we hadn't invested a lot of our own time into this system. And we're going to be investing some more time because we are now active members of the team. Yeah, exactly. Hopefully my voice stays in for the rest of the day here. But we had a blast at the show. It was lots of fun. We took turns like leaving the booth and walking around, so we weren't standing in just in one place. We wound up being in building 11 on the first floor. Um, Originally, they were supposed to be in the startup space, and there was just no way that was going to work for us. The table allocation there, we couldn't even get a printer on, much less the auto eject and show it all working. So we were able to get a different space, but that put us in a different part of building 11 where we were surrounded by metal and industrial additive manufacturing and post-processing. But I will say there's two things. One, we were really out of place in the area that we were. But two, that actually, I think, kind of helped us because a lot of people were walking by and they were seeing all this huge, big machinery. And then they walk by and they kind of look and they just see this small little display area and this small little thing just swapping build plates all day. And a lot of people just stopped out of curiosity and were asking things. We did get a lot of feedback. We did get some people saying like, hey, you could do this, you could do that, to add more capabilities to the system, right? Some auto sensing capabilities and stuff like that. So it was a really good show in that aspect. Luke's laboratory was above us on the second floor, which is 11.1. And they, I believe, had a really good show as well. They had some new hot ends they were showing off. They had some new versions of the Pika. As we all know, the Pika was announced, and the Pika is for the Bamboo Lab X1 P1 series. And there are a lot of new variants that are getting ready to come out. In fact, I came back with one of those variants to try in some printers that I have behind me. So yeah, fun times. And then 12.1, so the second floor over in building 12 was where all of the main consumer additive manufacturing stuff was. So that's where your Anycubic, Elegoo, Snapmaker, Prusa, Bondtech, Hay Gears, and all that were a lot of filament manufacturers. Some filament manufacturers I had never ever heard of. As you can see, I was dumping a bunch of pictures out in Discord. There's a whole slew more that I need to dump out there as well. So yeah. Yes. So once the Kickstarter backers have received their machines and we go to open the retail sales for the auto eject, all of the files will become open source. The hardware files are going to go out there. The software files will be out there so you can get the software. And you can get a machine up and running self-sourcing if you so choose. We're partnering with LDO to enable a solid kit build and to enable distribution via the LDO distribution channel. So, but yeah, that was that. Like I said, Waters was there. We talked to so many people. The food was amazing. We got there so we left Sunday night, flew into Iceland, had just enough time in Iceland to get off the plane, go through border customs control, and then get on the plane. We ran into Courtney from Filament Stories as we were transitioning the plane there. And then we didn't see Courtney again until like Thursday morning when they happened by the booth. And then they wound up doing an interview at the booth. There was a couple of interviews that may pop in there where either me or Waters actually did the interview because Mikesh was out running around. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. I definitely missed my bed as well. But yeah, the first night, or we got there Monday and went to the hotel. freshened up, ran over to finish setting up, and we went out and got doner kebab. Oh my God, that's all I've been waiting for is doner kebab, and it did not disappoint. Did not disappoint. But we had some doner kebab. Another night we went out, Friday night after we got everything packed up and got back to the hotel, we went out and one of the locals, I say locals, he's a New Zealander that's currently living in Frankfurt, took us out to a German restaurant slash pub, and we got some schnitzel, and it was fabulous. Completely fabulous. And we met Layers with Lily. Lily actually came by the booth, gave me a coin, and gave me one of her favorite Dutch candies. And I cannot remember the name. We scarfed that stuff down, but it was it's a candy that's half gummy and half licorice, like black licorice. And it was really good. I understand why she likes it. But yeah. And yes, we had a visitor that came in, a little young man that was asking some pretty good questions about the automated system. Only spoke German, and Lily was able to translate for us, which was awesome. Bamboo had their big announcement on the H2C. While we were at the show, we found out that the P2S and H2C had garnered import approval into the US, so you were able to start ordering the P2S and H2C. People have already received their P2S and H2Cs in the US. So if you're interested, get out there and order those. We went to the Snapmaker party on Thursday night. Beverly Tan from Ecovate 3D was hosting that party for Snapmaker, and that was a fun time. Got to talk to a lot of cool people there. Talked to a ton of vendors. It was really a good time. It was really a good time, and like I said, the food was fabulous. I miss it so much. We found the first couple of days we went to the cafes that were there in the Messe center. Yeah, I mean, it's food that is made in mass and distributed to multiple buildings, right? We'll just go with that. And then we found a cafe that was about a 5-minute walk away. And oh my Lord, the coffee was amazing. I had a nougat filled croissant the first day. We had pancakes with Nutella. I mean, the food was amazing. It was amazing. Yes, we met Proper Printing, John over there, John Schoen, and he has the Prusa XL that he put his proper extruders on. I'm not going to say his name for the Prusa XL that he christened it, but it was pretty funny. And Waters got his gift. He won something on John Schoen's stream, and we may be putting that on one of these X1Cs. So yeah, the effed up Excel. There you go. So yeah, we may be tearing into these and replacing the tool head and the motherboard and things like that on one of the X1Cs soon. So we'll see. Let's see, Jedi Spidey. Since I had surgery and am not supposed to lift anything over 15 pounds, I may be a while before I can get it upstairs and actually use it. Womp womp. What was that, Spidey? Ooh, your H2C, nice. If you need help, Spidey, let me know. I am off the rest of this week, and I have no problem. You know, just let me know, and I'll drive down there and help you move that around. Yeah, I mean, Waters works for a bamboo retailer and service center, so I'm sure we could get it set up for you, or at least get it moved upstairs and unpacked so that you can mess with it. So that could definitely happen. If I want to drive a little bit, like drive to the shop and get you and then come out because, you know, your car won't make it that far, you just have to get a kitchen pass, Waters. You just got to get a kitchen pass. So yeah, I do want to say that we do have a linked post or up at the top of the chat window right now through the end of this month, through 11/59, November 30th. You can use the code LukeCranked211. That's LukeCranked211 to get 11% off the total cost of your order at Deposition Sound. Okay, so Deposition Sound is sponsoring this build. We've got 2 sets of the build project that's happening. We've got the FDMGeos, and we've got the FDM S8, the 8-inch subwoofer. Hey Liz, thank you for the cheer biddies. 5, 5, and 5 again. Bearded Printer for the 100 biddies. Bearded Printer for another 100 biddies. Thank you very much all for the cheered bits. That's awesome. Welcome on in, Big Jano. How's it going, Beardy? Welcome in. Yeah, we just been chatting a little bit. What's a kitchen pass? Yeah, that thing where you ask for permission. Hey, FPV Aceto, how's it going? Welcome in. Liz with a bunch more cheered biddies. So yeah, we just been chit-chatting a little bit right now. We are going to work on the Deposition Sound a little bit. I did get the wires figured out, but we just been chatting a little bit about FormNext and all the cool stuff that we've got to see there. We got a hype train incoming. Thank you for the 100 biddies, Mr. Wizix. I appreciate it. Which auto-modded your chat? What'd you say, Spidey? So yeah, we had a blast at FormNext and just seeing all the cool stuff there. I talked to so many new vendors. The U1 was really cool. FiberSeek had their new printer out. They had several, I think, they had a 6-pack of them there, right, Waters? Which was the continuous fiber printer. So what that does is it's got fiber strands encased in a polymer, and it merges that with whichever type of material. So you would run if you're running PLA, you would run 2 strands of PLA. One strand would mix with that continuous fiber. The other is the straight PLA. And it pretty much does the outer walls in the straight PLA material and top and bottom layers in PLA, and then intermixes for all of your infill is the carbon strand mixtured filament. And so it really does add a little bit more strength. We're like, we talked about it a lot, me and Waters, Mikesh, and Kelvin, about does that really, like, it almost feels like it depends more on how you're orientating the part and whether or not it really provides the same amount of strength that you would get out of, say, a PET CF or a PET GCF printed part versus running with the continuous fiber. We haven't decided whether it's really niche or not. We're going to have to wait on some more testing to come out from people that actually strength test and stuff like that. But thank you for all the cheer biddies. It looks like we do have a little bit of a hype train going on. We're level 1 in a hype train, so thank you very much for that. Recreuse and their TPU 2.20. So Recreuse is coming out with with flexible filament that the diameter size is 2.2 millimeters. All right, Jedi Spidey with more cheery biddies of the laughing or neighing donkey. Hey, Icarus, welcome on in. Hey, Shawdell, welcome on in. How's it going? So the Recrew is 2.2. It is a 2.2 millimeter diameter filament, and it will run through your normal 1.75 extruder, so your normal extruder, and it would require a different nozzle. A nozzle has been upsized to allow the 2.2 to go through it. It still has a 1. Or whatever orifice, and it still tapers down to 1.75 and into the basic orifice. You can still run standard 1.75 millimeter filament through it. And what it allows you to do is, because it's 2.2 millimeters, it's a little firmer as it's going through your extruder. So you get better extrusion out of it without creating too much back pressure. And also at 2.2, it can still melt all the way through. You just coughed too, yeah. Where if you do like 2.85, it's really hard to get fully melted all the way through the filament. So 2.2 they found is the kind of sweet spot for that. I'm really looking forward to that hitting the market. And I did ask, like, how are you getting the nozzles out into the ecosystem? Their answer was, initially they're going to have to sell them as a package. So you order the filament and you get the nozzle specific to like your Prusa, because they showed it with a Prusa Core 1, and I believe it was an X1 P1 series, right? So they would have to provide you a nozzle that's got the 2.2 sizing to it. Once you have that, then you would go into basically like refills or what have you. But yeah. Yeah, we're gonna see. We're gonna see. I mean, it's like anything else that they bring out to the market. It's either going to be innovative or it's gonna flop. 3 up front, 3 slightly behind and raised. I missed something there, Waters, but sure. Yeah, definitely. Like, hit me up, Jedi Spidey, if you need help. Yeah, just let me know. Any chance you're still using the stealth burner you helped design with the dragons on it? Give me 1 second. Yes. It is still on there. It is still on the Trident. It will be coming off because the Trident's going to wind up going over to a Jabberwocky when we do the set of mods to that printer. But I will keep the shrouds. I will definitely keep the shrouds. Osito? I did not talk about the E3D Fuse yet. That one is weird. They had it printing on a printer, and it was flow rate was kicking on it, right? And it was going pretty fast. But it seems weird. It's almost like they flatten it and then bring it back into a cylindrical form again. And during that flat zone is where it's getting the heat, and it's because the surface area is different, it's able to heat through a lot quicker. So So yeah, it's a new technology that they're playing with, but they don't have it productized yet, if that makes sense. So they were talking about the technology, it's not productized yet. And I'm not sure if they're going to productize it or if they're going to license it out. Well, so here you go, zombie. How do you cold pull it? How do you fix a clog when you can no longer drive a plunger tube all the way through? Right? If your heat break literally is cylindrical and then comes down to a press zone and then goes cylindrical again into the nozzle, how are we going to get a clog out? Right? That, I think, is going to be the hard part of the technology. When it's working, it's going to be great. When it doesn't work or you get a clog, how do you clear the clog? Right? That may be the interesting piece. At least with the split lanes with a CHT, you can still do a cold pull. I've watched Waters do a cold pull out of a CHT. It's interesting, but it's still possible. Now it depends. Is it a filled filament that got clogged? That's where you run into issues with the CHT and stuff. Heat and a prayer. Isn't that always the clog mantra? Heat and prayer. Yeah, it doesn't always work. I agree with you, Zombie. I agree with you there. But yeah, lots of cool tech that was on display. Lots of cool filament and filament options that are coming out. So many companies. And it's kind of like, how many of them are actually manufacturing their own filament? And how many of them are relabeled filament that's manufactured by one of the 4 major manufacturers out of China, right? I did see a company that I'm very interested in, and we spent the day. We went and had lunch. We picked up Evil Diesel and ran over and had some lunch and chatted some about some things this afternoon because Evil Diesel. I passed the Hager's booth and just sent him a picture and said, "Hey, anything you want me to look at here at Hager's?" And he's like, "Yes, all of it." So I talked to the Hager's folks at length and got several sample prints from them that we brought back. I also talked with Rudolph, the CEO of Recycled Fabric. Okay, Recycled Fabreek. Fabrik. Let me see if I can pull them up. Seriously, do they not have? Huh. I'm gonna have to. I know I have their. All right, I'm gonna have to look for his card. I've got tons of cards and contact info. I'm gonna have to try and find their website, because their company has 100% recycled PLA and PETG. Okay, let me say that again. 100% recycled PLA and PETG. Nope, Customs didn't take anything. So the things that I brought back with me were 2 spools to try out from Recycled Fabric. The nice thing about their recycling stuff, so they've got patented technology where they clean all the material, they clean and sort all the material that comes in, and they don't wash it with soap and water. There's a proprietary process that they use to clean it and disinfect it. They double shred it to get it down to consistent pellet size, and then they melt it down and re-extrude it, adding some colorants to get different colors and stuff. Once again, it's 100% recycled, and as we've heard in the past, there's degradation over time, and a lot of times you have to add virgin polymer in when you're making recycled stuff. He was very adamant because I asked, how do you get around that? And he goes, that's a bit of fiction. It's a bit of marketing hype for a lot of our recycled filaments out there. You can do 100% recycled filament. There may be a tiny bit of degradation over time, but because they're dealing in tonnage, right? They are cleaning and recycling 7 ton, I believe it was, a month of material. Okay, and he said he's sitting on 60 to 70 ton of backlog in his warehouse right now. And they're not just using 3D printed waste material. Okay, they're getting manufacturing waste. They're getting like blister pack wrapping, like medical wrapping, food packaging, stuff like that, and recycling that, especially for some of their PETG material. So you do have the issue with quicker degradation of recycled materials when it's a constant stream recycling, meaning I get filament, I print with it, so it's gone through a couple of heating cycles now. I take all of my leftover filament and clean it, wash it, cut it down, and create new filament from my own waste. And then I continue to reprocess all of my waste material, right? That's where you're going to get and see quicker degradation and have to be bringing in virgin material because it's a single stream recycling. But because he's dealing with massive amounts of recycled material coming into his site, it's not a constant stream. It's constantly being intermixed with initial single-use materials that are being brought in. So he's not having that degradation issue over time. He's able to get a lot more plastics back out of the ecosystem. So that's really cool. So I got a couple of spools of that I'm going to try out. I picked up some 3D lac. I've got 2 types of 3D lac, the standard, which is good for PLA and PETG, and then the 3D lac plus. The standard I have in like a roll-on, and then the plus I have in a pump bottle sprayer, and the plus will work with ABS, ASA, and filled nylons. So carbon or glass filled nylons. Hey 3D Mac Vents, welcome on in. It doesn't work with straight nylon. They have a separate product for that, which looks almost like rubber cement, little brush thing, kind of like your 3D Gloop. So that's a different product they use for that. There was a company there called Reflecon, R-E-F-L-E-C-O-N. They make sprays for 3D scanning, okay? A lot of times you know that scanners have issues with like black, glossy, or matte objects. You have to use a lot of markers, and a lot of people resort to some type of sprays. They've got a dozen to 15 different types of sprays that you can use that have different lengths of time that they're good for, so you can spray it on and then go through and do your scan. And I believe they basically just go away through evaporation and flashing off. So they leave little residue. You can use them for like automotive type stuff and things like that, where you don't want to use like a chalk spray or talc powder or something like that on somebody's interior of their car. So that was pretty neat to talk to them about that. And they also had another product that I was interested in, and I got a sample can. And by sample can, I mean like big sample can that I had to leave behind because it was flammable aerosol, right? It's an actual aerosol spray versus a pump. But this was a build plate cleaning spray. So here's the thing. We've got plenty of printers here in the Dragon Den, right? And occasionally they need to be washed, which means I've got to pop the plate, go downstairs, wash it with, Dove power wash or whatever, to clean all of the oils and stuff that are on the build plate, get off any residual filament residue and stuff, and then come back up here and put it on the build plate. Probably hit it with some IPA to get the initial finger oils off of it. So that means a little bit of time, and I have to go down and use the sink, make a mess, dry things off, the whole 9 yards. With this stuff, I would be able to sit up here, pull the plate, spray it, wipe it down with a lint-free cloth, put it back on, and I've just saved myself a lot of time. Probably still not wanting to use it on like your Kadive or other cold build plates, but could save you a lot of time if you're running a lot of PEI, textured PEI build plates. So I left that behind with Kelvin because I couldn't bring it on the plane. But there is a company here in the US that imports the Reflecon sprays. So once the build plate cleaner is available on the market, because it's not available just yet, I'm hoping to be able to get some to play with it myself and see how it works. Hey, Kenneth D, how's it going? 3D Medic Vince, welcome on in. So yeah, a lot of cool stuff at FormNext, and I'm just really excited about that. And I was very, very, very grateful that automated team was able to bring me and Waters out there. It's been a year of first for Waters. He'd never been past the Mississippi River really, and we took him on an epic road trip with 2 Air Force retirees, me and Evil Diesel. So 28 and 30-hour road trips straight through, driving out to Denver and back. So he got out to Rocky Mountain Rep Rap Festival. Then later on, he got a flight out to California to do some training with X Tools. Now I got him out of the country for the first time ever, and we went over to Germany and did that. So that was a lot of fun. And we're talking about possibly either Smurf or TCT Shenzhen. So TCT Asia is in Bangkok in March. Might be hard to go to both Smurf and that. God, time zones will be a killer. But TCT Shenzhen is in October. Might be easier to get to. Coming to Texas next year, I have no clue. There's something that I haven't mentioned yet. I will probably mention it tomorrow or Thursday night stream. But it's going to play into what we do as far as shows coming up into this next year. So yeah, stand by. There is a pretty major announcement getting ready to be made. Hey, Eagle the Dragon, how are you doing? Hope you're doing well. Lone Star 3D Expo 2026. Yes. What is the dates for that, Technoside? And what city is it in? You could throw the dates and the city in there. That would be great. And with that, let's go ahead, because we did say that we were going to do a little bit of work on our speakers. And I did say that I did figure out how the speaker wires go. So we have one set of long wires that get these blue connectors. And these are they're just smaller versions of the spade connectors. Okay. And then the other side would be bare. I hate bare wires, so we went ahead and put ferrules on them. Then the other set of long wires get the bigger spade connectors. These are going to go on the 5-inch drivers. Once again, the other side got ferrules. Then the short wire, the 6-inch wire, gets a pair of spade connectors and ferrules on the other side. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to take our crossovers, and we're going to put our short wires over here on the inbound side. And these are the wires that are going to connect to the external banana connectors that we installed on the outside of the case. So they'll connect to these on the inside and then bring that signal into the boards. We'll have to pay attention to the negative and positive. And the other thing I'm going to do is push these in, and because these can go all the way in, we're good. If that was pushed all the way in, I would trim the tips off of these so that no metal is showing. This should be low power, but I don't want to have any chance of a signal arc or anything like that, or a power arc. Or noise interference or anything like that. August 21st through 23rd in the Irving Convention Center in Irving, Texas. Okay, well, we will have to check that out. Now, the other thing I'm going to do, and this is just for me, is the side that's going into the negative, I'm going to come over here and I'm just going to hit it with a Sharpie and with a black Sharpie. That's going to tell me that that is my negative side of things. Because we want to make sure our negatives and positives are the same for our signal generation or signal pass-through. Now, the sides with these blue connectors, these are smaller spade connectors. They're going to go to the tweeters, which are going to be the high frequency. So you'll see on here we have LF and HF, low frequency, high frequency. We're going to have a pair of these that go to the high frequency, and then a pair that'll go to the low frequency, which will be the 5-inch woofers, or speakers, I should say. We'll call them mids. And once again, we're going to go ahead and put our ferrules in here, and we're going to look in the inner two. So it goes positive, negative, negative, positive. So it's the inner two wires that will be the quote unquote negative side of things. So we'll want to be sure and identify those connectors as well. And we're making sure that these are getting screwed down nice and tight and that nothing pulls out. And then once again, we're just going to mark the negative side of the connector, just mark it with some Sharpie, and we'll be good. We'll do the same thing with our other big spade connectors. They're going to go in for the low frequency. And once again, it's the inner side of the cable. We're just going to paint a black line on that one. And then we'll come back and we'll do it again for the other speaker using our other set of cables. Once again, the shorter cable goes on the input side. And it looks like we have an ad that is getting ready to start. I'm going to snooze that real fast and take this time to make an ad of myself. So folks, once again, there's a pinned post at the top of the chat. That pinned post has a code called, or that says Luke Cranked 211. Okay, that is a code that you can use right now to go to Deposition Sound and order a set of FDM5Geos or FDM5s, FDM4s, or the FDMS8, which is the subwoofer, which we'll also be putting together. And you can get, using that code, you can get 11% off for your entire order. Okay? While you're out there, be sure to let them know, the code will, but be sure to let them know that you saw it here on the channel. You know, yeah, just go out and get your own set of speakers if you're so interested. These are going to be great for use here in the studio as monitor speakers and just when I'm hanging out and jamming out, because right now the speakers that I use on stream are the monitor, and they're from the back of the monitor, so they're pretty weak even if I have them on full blast. So having a set of speakers and a powered subwoofer should play great into being able to hear the different things that pop up during the stream, as well as when I'm playing games and just chilling out with Evil Diesel. You have no audio. Anybody else hear me? Is anybody else having an issue? Okay, so it sounds like Waters has no audio. I think everybody else can hear me, right? If you can hear me, please post in chat that you can hear me. Please post in chat that you can hear me. Because I'm seeing audio on my side. Loud and clear. Okay, so it's just Waters has something turned off right now. Thank you, thank you. Okay. All right, so all of our wires are installed and all of our negative lines are marked so that we know. Yeah, it's you, not dragon. Okay, cool. So we're good to go there. And we're ready to go on to the next step. Attach the cabinet feet using, there's 4 little round indentions on here. We're just going to install our rubber feet. I will tell you the subwoofer came in a couple of days ago, and it's pretty substantial. You know, just the speaker, we're going to be building the case or printing the case, and the case is going. I switched up, and we were printing the case over here on the X1. It's printing pretty well. Haven't had any issues with it yet, so that print's going well. But it's 4 long prints. And I decided to switch over to the X1C simply because it's also on an UPS, and because at least 2 of the prints are going to go across filament spools. I wanted it so that it would just automatically switch over. So I'm using the AMS in rollover mode. That allowed me to put 4 spools on and just print one after the other. You're back so you can hear again? Well, that's good. It's always more fun when you can hear. All right, so we've got our speaker feet on. Now what's next? Crossover installation. Bundle up wire on top of crossover with cabinet standing upright. Apply a liberal amount of adhesive in the center of 4 circular indentations located inside bottom of the cabinet. Press and hold the crossover standoffs in position. Hold firmly until the adhesive hardens, or use additional accelerant. Connect positive and negative female plugs to interior binding posts, male terminals. Making sure to line polarity positive to positive, negative to negative, which is why we mark those cables. Okay, so what we need to do is install these 4 standoffs. We're going to need to take this and basically just bend it back, and you'll see there are 4 indentations in here. So what I'm going to do is just test fit to make sure that it sits in there without an issue, and it does. And now what I'm going to do is I will put super glue on the bottom of these and spray accelerant on the inside, keeping them angled away from each other so that they don't get stuff everywhere, or set this off ahead of time. Because I have determined that if I do not use the accelerant, that I've got to stand here and hold this for quite a while. There's one. So the super glue I use is the medium. It's almost like a gel. So we'll get that started. We'll bend that back. We'll set this down here, kind of set it in place and just hold it there for a few. Sorry, I was counting. Yep, still hasn't fully set yet, so we'll put it there and just let the weight sit on it. So yeah, like I said, we will be making announcements of future things to come here in a couple of days. But yeah, some fun times ahead for the Dragon Den. And like I said, we are looking with the automated team about possibly getting out to Smurf and or TCT Shenzhen. We'll see where else we can get along the way. Thanks for the 33 months of subscription in a row, Evil Diesel. I really appreciate that. Like I said, I brought back a bunch of material for Evil Diesel to go through as far as the Gear stuff went. So he's kind of in pig heaven looking through tech specs and having fun doing that. Okay, you might need to split the wires a little bit too, be able to get them on your spade connectors, but we're going to put the negative one, so the one we marked with the black line is going to go at the bottom, on the bottom spade connector. Easier said than done right now. Big hand, small spot. Yeah, almost 3 years. Almost 3 years. Which is kind of crazy that I've been streaming for almost 3 years. So speaking of seeing Layers with Lily, so Layers with Lily, I believe tomorrow is doing a 1-year streamiversary over on YouTube. Coming up, it's either tomorrow or Thursday. And if you follow her, listen to her, have used any of her tips and tricks, definitely go over there and hang out and give her some love on her 1-year streamiversary. She is really, really cool, and I finally got to meet her face to face at the FormNext show. And like I said, she's just really, really cool. She helped us as we had a kid that came to the booth that only spoke German, and she was able to help translate for us without missing a beat. So that was really cool. And she does have a Kudo board up. If anybody has access to that link, please feel free to grab it and share it in the share it out here. I do not have direct access to it right now. Otherwise, I would do that myself. But yeah, they've got a Kudo board for her. So definitely, definitely, definitely jump out there and show her some love on the Kudo board if you can't make the stream, or even if you can. Thank you, Beardy. There's two things that I'm trying to do. Yeah, but keep it a secret. I am trying to pop this stuff in here blind, so it's like you're feeling for the tab and then trying to put the spade connector on the tab, getting it lined up straight. Basically blind, right? So take your time, make sure you've got a good connection on the spade connector, because that's what's going to be providing the signal into your crossover. So if it's loose and not in there right, you're not going to get all the good sound. So yeah, they should fit on there well. It's just going to take some fiddling to get them in there and get them on the spade connectors. Okay, so we got them both on the spade connectors. The cable that we marked black is on the bottom, which is where our negative side of the connectors were. Let me move the cap and move the accelerant off to the side. Then we get into the stuffing. We get to stuff our speakers. So what we're going to do is, because we've got one set of wires that goes to the woofer at the bottom, another set of the wires with the blue connectors that are going to go to the tweeter at the top, we're just going to wrap these around the kind of that center side bracing point some. Just like that, kind of get those out of the way a bit. I'll do that on both of these. And then we'll go through and put our polyfill in. And this is the polyfill stuffing. And once again, this is what actually helps make the case seem like it's bigger and deaden some of the resonant sound waves within the case. So you're going to take this stuff out, and it just kind of expands in your hand, and you're just going to want to fluff it up and kind of shove it in the box and fill in the back cavity of the box, basically. In fact, I'm going to pull that back out, kind of shove this up in the back and around. Just kind of want to pull it out like cotton candy and spread it around. Let's kind of do like that. Do the same thing for the other side. Once again, you've got this little thing, and when you pull this out, it just kind of starts expanding and tearing apart. We're just going to kind of open this up and shove it in there, pull it around. Okay, then with the partially assembled cabinet facing upward, add a towel underneath to relieve pressure on the binding posts and prop up. Apply a generous bead of glue to the inner lip of the cabinet as shown. Then with the front baffle in hand, apply accelerant to the backside groove and place firmly and quickly into position over the lip. And then we'll add some weight to them. So we've got our binding posts in the back. What we want to do is, here, let me do this because I have some tools that we can use. We can set these next to each other. Set that down on there with the binding post out of the way. And we'll need to make sure that our wires here are out of our way so that we can put on our super glue and not get anything on the wires. And then we'll pull them through the holes so that we can do our other pieces. And when you do this, you do not want to go on the outer lip. So you've got this lip face here. You do not want to go on the outer edge. You want to go on the inner edge. That way any run over goes inside the speaker enclosure, not outside where it will mess with the aesthetics of the enclosure. So once again, we're going to take our glue and we really want to apply it fairly liberally, and we're going on the inner edge all the way around. Okay. Then we're going to move off screen here, and I'm going to spray accelerant around the edge gap here. Fit that on. Push it firmly in place. Make sure it snaps on all the way around the edge. And then we can set it face down. And add some weight. Preferably not on the binding post. That'll add a little bit of weight to it. Again, we'll take our wires and set them down in there. We'll be able to get them from the, we'll be able to get at them from our speaker holes. Really good beat around there. Spray our accelerant liberally. And then make sure that they're pushed nicely on there. Got everything seated well, no gap. We'll flip it over and add some additional weight. We'll let that sit up for a little bit. Hey, Tech Jeeper, welcome on in. Yeah, we were trying to get Evil Diesel there, but he needs to get his passport done first. Do I want to ops check before sealing it? We will. We will. We still have access. We've got that 5-inch hole that we can shove our hand in. It just gets harder and harder. Next year you take Michaela with you and Evil Diesel gets to keep me. All right, kids, no fighting. I spent the entire week being called old man, grandpa. Of course, it doesn't help that I'm like pretty much broke. Like standing on the concrete floor all day and then walking the venue because it was, like I said, a huge venue. Oh yeah, and Papa. Come on, Papa. Yeah, it did not help that we were sitting there on a concrete slab all day. And my left hip was killing me. That there. Looks like I did drop something. Thought I had. Yep. Okay. So while that's sitting there drying a bit, we'll go ahead and open up our speakers and get those out. So there are our 5-inch woofers with their gasket. We'll have one for each enclosure. So there's the 5-inch speakers. And our tweeters. Again, these are 3/4-inch tweeters. With the tinier fade connectors on them. Ugh. Hey Tulsa, how's it going? Welcome on in. Yeah, anti-fatigue mats would be great. Like I said, we've got some and we take them to all the local shows. It's just, how do you get anti-fatigue mats out there? It's one of those things where if you're shipping, it's a lot easier to get anti-fatigue mats. They're kind of heavy to carry in your luggage. We had, it was concrete floor and basically just some industrial carpet spread over the top of it. Agreed. If Kelvin's there, we need to be able to pre-ship some stuff up to him like that, or see if he can source it locally for us. because that would be pretty cool. Okay. Some CA accelerants will yellow white PETG or PLA, so be sure to mask with blue painter's tape. Anything that you don't want to see is yellow. Well, we're using metallic red, so we're good there. So maybe more VIP tickets. Yep. So I think we're pretty good to go. This shouldn't take that long to set up. So what we're going to need to do is fish our wires out. And once again, our blue wires need to come up to the top hole. The other wires come out the lower hole. And we're going to go ahead and mount our tweeter. Now we need to be careful. Once the adhesive is properly hardened between the front and main cabinet, connect positive and negative leads of tweeter wire to tweeter and press tweeter firmly into small opening. The fit should be snug, not loose. The other thing I want to see is there a marking on here of what's positive and what's negative? Okay, so Eagle Eyes, help me out. I am not seeing any marking on the plastic housing. Is there a difference in color on the fade connectors? Because I'm not seeing it, if there is. Could be red and black. Like I said, I'm not seeing a color difference. Or wait. Looks like this one has a red stripe on it, if I'm seeing that correct, right? Yeah, this one has a red stripe on it. So that one should be the red and the other one will be the black. So the one that we marked with a black line should go on the black. The other one will go on the red. We're gonna have to be careful of not putting our finger through the tweeter. There we go. On there, dang it. All right, so those are on. And like I said, all we're going to do is bring this in, and it should be a press fit in the hole. Just like that. So we've got the tweeter in on one. Let's go ahead and do the tweeter on the other one. Yeah, this one's a little bit easier to see because it just has the mark and the black doesn't go up as high on it. So pick this one up, bring our wires out. Blue ones will go up here. And It goes there. So because these are kind of curved, the easiest way is where your connectors kind of do this. So you want the curvature to be that way. So it's kind of hard to explain, but makes it easier for the connector to go on. Okay. Those are on there. Go ahead and press fit this in. And there we go. We've got both tweeters in. Grandpa is losing his vision. Yes, we knew that. Connect positive and negative leads to the woofer and drop the woofer into position, lining up the flange with underlying threaded inserts, using 4 screws, fasten woofer to position. Proceed to tighten in a star pattern. Screws should be a little tighter than finger tight. Okay, so our woofers, we do have a ring here that is a gasket. This will go on the back. And we should have our 2 connections here. One of them has a little dot next to it, which I'm assuming is the red dot. Tell me if I'm wrong. Looks like a red dot next to that one. So our marked one is the ground. Our unmarked one is the positive, which will go to the marked terminal. Make sure it's fully seated. Okay. And once again, this should push in, and we're going to line up our screw holes. We really should have this behind it, and we'll have to push through it as we screw things down. Let me get a couple of things up here so that we can protect our whatchamacallem, banana plugs in the back. We get the gasket down on there, find our mounting holes, and drop this down on there. Okay, all 4 of those are lined up now. We're using 3mm button head screws, so 2mm driver. And what I'm going to do is get all of them started before I tighten any one of them down. That way, because there's a little bit of play side to side, so that'll give me the best chance of getting all 4 of these in there if I don't tighten any one down, just get them close. And then once we have them there, since we're going just a little tighter than finger tight, we're going to do the standard. So 1 finger on top just to provide stability. And then we're just using our fingertips as we tighten this down. As soon as we feel the resistance change, we switch to the other side. Same thing. We'll go around and we'll do this a couple of times. Okay, and so we've got those 4 there. Now we've got our ring, our accent piece, and there's 4 little holes in here that will line up with our 4 screws. So what we need to do is just cruise by high for interaction. Oh, cool, Down Under Maker. So we're going to kind of line this up and make sure that we're lining up on the heads of the screws. And there's a slot that the edge of this ring is going to go into. And we're going to have to kind of bend it into position, so to speak. And this may take a little bit, so a little bit of finagling to get there and get everything lined up. And keep everything lined up. Oh, and there we are. Now, one thing to be aware of is there is a little mark right there, like a print line, and that's a good indication of up and down. But there is our completed speaker. Once again, this is EPAC's metallic red PET G and metallic gold accent ring. So we've got 1 down and 1 to go. We'll bring this chassis up, set up on our makeshift stand here. We'll go ahead and take the ring around this time so it'll be a little bit easier. And once again, the dot is a red dot, so that'll be the positive. This will be the negative. So we put the negative on. And the positive on. Then we're going to set this down in there. And then I'm just going to use some smaller size screwdrivers to see if I'm in line with my inserts or not. All right, there's one. Be careful. I want to jam our banana plugs. I found one, but I'm not finding the others. Oh, no, there it is. There it is. And there we go. So we've got all of those located. No, they work better if you put the polarity right on them. And they're also going to work better when you have the cables to connect everything up, which I also don't have. So we're going to be able to see that we have speakers, but I need to order cables to connect them all up to the PC so that we can test them out. I've got the recommended cables in my cart. I just need to see if I can get them tomorrow or not. I probably should stop screwing things in and see if I'm too late to get them in tomorrow. Let's see. Yep, I can't get the cables until Wednesday. Fun fact: I went to a Best Buy to see if I could get cables, and yeah, that did not work. Once again, light pressure from the top just to get stability, and we're using our fingertips. We don't want to crank down on these, so we're just going to start tightening them in a crossing pattern, and we want a little more than finger tight. And there we go. Now we've got our other beauty ring. And like I said, I'm not sure if it'll show up on here, but there is, if you catch the light right, there is a little like print line right there. And you can either put it at the top or put it at the bottom. But if you line that up with the center seam, then you're pretty much got this lined up in the right spot for your screw heads. So, and there, this comes down at a sloped edge. And that slope edge, there is an inner ring around here that you're trying to get that sloped edge into. So let's find our printed piece, our printed line. Line that up. Get it in the edge ring here. Why are you being more cantankerous this time? Figures comes down to the trim ring and it wants to start getting cantankerous. Just be careful and take your time when you're doing this. The last thing you want to do is put a finger through your woofer, and then you'll be going for another speaker. So yeah, I'm not seeing or feeling anything that would be amiss in that edge. All right, there we go. There we go, and that popped in. I think I was slightly off on the where the heads were, so that was what was keeping me out. But we've now got 2 speakers done. We'll be able to test them out, like I said, shortly. I've got to get some cables in. I've got to get some cables in so that we can cable everything up. I do have the preamp that they suggested for it, or not preamp, but the amplifier for these speakers. So these speakers are unpowered, so you do have to power them with an amp. The amp that I got that was suggested, I believe, was 80 watt by 2, so I should be sending 40 watts to each of these. And then we'll have a powered subwoofer, which is an 8-inch subwoofer, and I believe it's a 100-watt subwoofer amp that gets built into the case. Thanks. So once again, these are the FDMGeos. They have a 5-inch mid-range woofer and a 3/4-inch tweeter. They're printed in EPAX metallic red PET G, and the accent ring is metallic gold. So I figure with the channel colors that this goes well with the channel colors of the Digital Dragon symbol. So yeah, I think these look really nice. I can't wait to hear what they sound like, and I can't wait to hear what they sound like when my ears aren't fully plugged. Oh, cool, Sebastian. I wish we had a chance to say hey. There were so many people that I saw there, but it was like you said, it was across the way. And, you know, I just did not get a chance. Like, I know STL Denise was there because she was posting content. Never saw her. I saw Courtney from Filament Stories and her husband, Chris. We saw them at the airport as we transitioned planes in Iceland. And then, of course, in Frankfurt. And as soon as we got the Uber at Frankfurt to go to our hotels, I didn't see her again until Wednesday or Thursday morning when she came by the booth and did a quick rundown on automated. Like, we weren't even on her list, and she happened to be coming by, and I just said, "Hey, Courtney," and she turned around and was like, "Oh my God!" And so they came back and did a quick little spiel with Mukesh. Hey, Westery, how's it going, sis? Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well. We just finished some speakers. If you give me 1 second, I will run down and grab a few other things and we'll show off the full set. I will be right back. And while I'm at it, let me go ahead and just check out over here and actually pick up the things that I was going to get. If I can find wires locally, I will. If I have extra sets, oh well, no big deal. But I'm trying to get some decent wires, not just like chintzy speaker wires from like 20 years ago. Something will be coming my way shortly. It's a mini version of someone. Hopefully stuffed, not live. I mean, I love Mia, but you know, can't have doggies just because of the allergies and stuff. I mean, God's honest truth, I would muddle through. But like I said, I will be right back. I'm going to pop this off and mute you guys while I run downstairs, but I'll be right back. Not stuffed, but not live. Okay, I'll be right back, folks. 1 second. Okay, there we go. So once again, we have the SMSL high-res power amplifier. This is suggested on the website. And comes with a power plug and a USB cable. And we go over to the bench side here. We've got left and right. They're banana plugs, so you need banana plug to banana plug for the speakers to run the left and right channel. We'll have aux in, so this would be our input vertical here from the PC with RCA jacks, and then RCA jacks for the subwoofer out. Now this provides power just for these two speakers, and it's an unpowered subwoofer out, so it's going to send the signal to the subwoofer, and our subwoofer will have a power amplifier built into it. And this, pretty simple. You'll have the left and right channel. You'll be able to make some selections, and then it's a straight dial or volume at the front. So this was a suggested thing to get. It also has Bluetooth, so you can just connect your like your phone or something directly to this amp and listen to things over the speaker. But once again, I don't have banana clip based cables to plug it in. Otherwise, we could, you know, try listening to something off of my phone right now on these two speakers without a subwoofer in the mix. So we've got that. We've got the subwoofer box, which I need to mark so I don't dox myself. And I also want to say we now have zip-up hoodies on the merch store. For whatever reason, the logos on this one did not come out as cleanly or as nicely. I think it's whatever printer that they used or labels. It was just not as good. So I do need to go back and have a conversation with them about that. But we do have zip-up hoodies now. And then the next thing that we will be building will include the 8-inch subwoofer. So give you an idea, this is almost as big as the entire case previously. So we'll have the 8-inch subwoofer. It's still going to take a couple more days of printing to be able to get the case because it's 4 quadrants and each print is roughly a day. And it winds up using like 4.4 kilograms of filament. Small fastener pack. We get 4 pieces of polyfill, so we'll fill up all 4 quadrants. And then we'll get a Dayton Audio 100-watt Class D subwoofer plate amp. So once again, this is a plate that will go on the side of the speaker housing on the back side. So we'll have volume control frequency, so you can set between 40 and 200 hertz cutoff. You'll have putting it in or out of phase by 180 degrees. Auto, on or off, I'm not sure what that is. Bass boost. This is where your input is from the other device that I showed you earlier. And then the power switch. And then there's all your electronics that go with this amplifier. We'll have pre-made plug here to connect into the subwoofer, so we shouldn't have to do anything with that. So yeah, this will be the next bit of kit that we'll be getting into. Once again, we've got a few days of printing to go. Hopefully we have no more print failures. Like I said, I did switch over to printing on the X1 Carbon because I'm going to have to use every last bit of the metallic red PETG that I was able to get because, well, we bought them out. They have no more left in stock, and it's going to be a couple of months to get another shipment because of all the holidays and stuff. They actually have to have a batch run. So if I have no more print failures, we should be good. If I do have a print failure, then I do have a backup plan. But yeah, fingers crossed, no failures, and everything goes well. And that'll be the next part of the build is building this. And a couple of days I'll get the wires. We'll be able to plug this in. Probably by Thursday stream, we'll be plugging these in and testing them out, listening to them. And tomorrow's stream, we're going to work on a shield. Tomorrow's stream, we're going to work on a shield. Now, for those of you that are interested in these speakers and like them and want to get a set for yourself, there is a code pinned to the top. It is Luke cranked to 11, and that'll get you 11% off of your total order. It's a one-time use code. It's good between now and the 30th of November. So 11:59 p.m. East Coast, 30th November, code stops working. Up until then, you can order anything off of Deposition Sound and use that code to get 11% off. These would make great gifts for Christmas, either for yourself or a loved one. And I'm looking forward to getting these things running and listening to them and seeing how they sound. And there's this very, very special reason why we got these and why we're getting the subwoofer set that goes with it. And I will explain that in the next day or two, either Tuesday or Thursday stream. Or actually, I take it back. We won't be streaming Thursday because I just realized Thursday is Thanksgiving. And we're not streaming on Thursday because we will be at Mama Dragon's house. We'll be at my parents' house having Thanksgiving. So we may stream, we're going to stream tomorrow. We may stream Wednesday, maybe Friday as well. What the hell? I'm not working this week, so if I sound strange as well, I did come back sick from FormNext. Something about, pretty much 30 degrees the entire time we were there or less. 30 degrees Fahrenheit and snowing the last day, so I'm a little bit under the weather. She's actually a hair dog, so no allergies. She's a sweetheart is what she is. I did see a couple of dogs like her while over in Germany. So, hey, Multi-Headed Voron, how's it going? Yeah. I missed streaming last week, and here's what I will tell you. It would have been great to stream. We actually probably could have live streamed from Building 11. Building 12, they were having problems getting connected like 3 feet from the router, right? Big Tree Tech had a router sitting right underneath where their A1 was set up, and they could not get the A1 to reliably connect. It was that bad because it was just oversaturated. Every booth had wireless. The environment had wireless. When we were over at Building 11, there weren't as many booths because they were larger booths. Like we had, Parsons probably had like a 60 by 60 booth. It was crazy. It was huge, Friday is D&D. Yeah, damn it. Well, it's not all night. Who knows? Maybe we'll have like a 2 a.m. stream. I don't know, Evil Diesel. Stop throwing obstacles. I don't work. Maybe I'll stream during the day. Thanks, Icarus, on Thanksgiving. And I hope anybody else that's celebrating Thanksgiving or just anything this time of year is having fun and good times with family as well. Yeah, you'll be streaming, Liz, and I'll eat turkey. That is right. Yeah. Daytime Friday, exactly. Exactly. If he comes to the game tired, I blame you. If I come to the game tired, it's because I didn't take a nap. Old man, remember? I need to take naps. Up in the accent ring, connect to an amp and crank to 11. Yep. So, yeah, we got the speakers together. I think they look great. I'll be taking some pictures and posting them online. And once again, if you want to get a set of speakers yourself, go out to Deposition Sound, use code Luke Cranked 211, all capitals, and the number 211 to get 11% off your order. Now, between now and November 30th. So, and then, like I said, we're going to be streaming Tuesday for sure. Wednesday, probably, because Thursday we won't be streaming because it's Thanksgiving. And Friday we'll probably have a day stream. So, and there's lots of things that I need to tell everybody. There's some announcements I need to make, but I'm holding off for right now. But there are some cool announcements getting ready to be made. So look forward to that. If you want a sweatshirt, weather's getting cold. We've got straight pullover sweatshirts. We now have some zip-up sweatshirts. They are made by various silk screen pressed by various people. So the ones I got probably could have been a little bit better. Looks like they were getting to the end of a cartridge or something with their printer, but we'll be getting some more down the road as well. We've got a lot of great affiliate codes here on the channel. We've got codes, like I said, for Deposition Sound. We have codes for amame. We will be setting up and building some new amame speakers here in the future as well. So yeah, lots of good content, lots of good affiliate codes, and hopefully some more in the works as well. Teslas will be on the TV on Turkey Day. Yep. I will tell you that during Turkey Day, when at Mom and Dad's house, when we go to do eat the meal, that nothing's on the TV, and then afterwards we'll figure out where it goes from there. But I am looking forward to getting the cables and getting these powered up and listening to them. At the very least, I need 2 sets of banana cables and 1 set of standard RCA cables to plug into the PC and to the amp, and we'll be able to try and listen to these. So I did order them on Amazon using the affiliate links from Deposition Sound because, get back. And if I can find some cables locally at like Walmart or something, I will, but we'll have to see. And with that, folks, I think an ad break's going in for about another 20 seconds. Let me see who we could raid into this evening. The whole thing just kind of feels weird because I haven't streamed in a week. It's been weird. All right. Let's get ready to jump over to the Free Heathen. Like I said, haven't been on, so let's go ahead and get a raid started over there. Everybody, please come with me as we raid over there. Give them a try, give them a listen. I think most people in here have seen Free Heathen before. And, you guys have a great day. It's been great coming back and chatting with you all and talking about all the cool things at FormNext and some of the cool stuff that we saw. I will be posting more pictures on Discord. Thank you so much for all the cheered bits tonight. I appreciate that. And yeah, just thanks for hanging out. And in 3 minutes. Oh, is Pezlu's getting ready to start? I don't know. But yes, thank you everybody for being here for the build of our Deposition Sound FDM5Geos. Tune in once we start getting the subwoofer put together, and I will see everybody soon and around the interwebs. Have a great night all, and we'll see you later. Bye now. And for those of you that are following on YouTube, Thank you so much for sticking around till the end. If you would be so kind, go ahead and hit that like button below. And if you like the content, be sure to hit the subscribe button while you're down there. Click the bell so you get notified of future videos. Speaking of future videos, YouTube's going to be suggesting one right over here. Have a great day, and we'll see you later. Bye now.